Good day all. My name is Darren Darrell and I'm the Public Relations Officer for the Montserrat Community College Debating Society. And as part of practice for the Leeward Islands Debating Competition 2014, we'll be having a series of practice debates which we'll put online here at the Community College. The topic for this debate is the increased number of women in the workplace has a negative impact on children. To my left, we have our proposition. Our first speaker, Ms. Tiffany Skerritt, and our second speaker, Ms. Vanny Stewart. And the opposition, on my right, first speaker, Ms. Tricia Spencer, and our second speaker, Mr. Carvin Bracken.
Moderator, worthy opponents, attentive audience. Today, my partner and I stand in full support of the moot, which states, the increased number of women in the workplace has negatively impacted children. Let us begin by examining the moot. According to the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, negatively is defined as lacking positive qualities, marked by features that hinder or oppose constructive treatment or development, end quote. We will follow the UN Convention and define a child as everyone under the age of 18. The proposition will show that the increased number of women in the workplace does hinder or oppose the constructive treatment or development of human beings under the age of 18. Between 1975 and 2009, the labor force rate of mothers with children under the age of 18 increased from 47.4% to 71.6%. Mothers today also return to work much sooner after the birth of a child than did mothers half a century ago. What effects does this have on children? To answer this important question, follow me as I present irrefutable evidence from academic research that the increased number of women in the workplace has negatively impacted children. In a study by Amanda DeYoung entitled Working Mothers, Cognitive and Behavioral Effects on Children, she concluded, and I quote, children face several cognitive and behavioral effects that are the result of maternal employment during their early development years. Several cognitive and behavioral differences were noted between children of working and non-working mothers. Differences were found in school performance, participation in extracurricular activities, and abnormal behavioral issues, end quote. Moderator, children with working mothers are usually placed in group childcare, which results in them receiving less one-on-one attention and instruction. This leads to significant cognitive effects later in childhood. Behavioral effects may also arise. A longitudinal study completed in 2001 by Han, Walfogel, and Brooks Gunn found significant cognitive differences between children who had working mothers and children who had stay-at-home moms. The study examined the effect of maternal employment early in a child's life. It found that it had a negative effect on cognitive outcomes for the child by age 3 or 4. These cognitive effects could still be seen by age 7 or 8. Interestingly, the amount of time that mothers worked did not appear to affect cognitive outcomes, as no differences were found in children of mothers working part-time compared with mothers working full-time. The researchers also found a correlation between mothers working during a child's first year of life and behavioral problems by that child later in childhood. Moderator, let us continue this journey, which will lead to the inescapable conclusion that the increased number of women in the workplace has negatively impacted children. Families are the foundation of functional society, a home where father and mother see children as their primary role, a home where time spent with children is more important than working to buy them television. In the paper entitled Homemaker or Career Woman, Life Courses, Factors and Racial Influences Among Middle-Class Americans, published in the Journal of Comparative Family Studies, Gill found that homemakers felt that being a mother was their most important life role. In contrast, working mothers felt that the careers were their main role and their family was just an additional part of their lives. Moderator, how can women believing that their career is more important than their family not negatively affect children? The journey continues. In addition to differences in discipline and support that children receive, maternal employment also affects school performance. A study by Janicia, Lopu, and London done in 2008 entitled Maternal Work Hours and Adolescent School Outcomes Among Low-Income Families in 4 Urban Counties, published in Demography, used statistics gathered in a survey of urban mothers to assess how mothers working affected adolescents. They found that children of stay-at-home mothers were more likely to have above-average school performance. Children of working mothers were not more likely to perform poorly in school, but they were less likely to perform above average. Children of employed mothers were also found to be more likely to skip school than children of non-working mothers. Moderator, there has been a general breakdown of discipline by children. Just ask our teachers. This has coincided with the increased number of women joining the workforce. Nomaguchi and Milky, in their 2006 paper entitled Maternal Employment in Childhood and Adults, Retrospective Reports of Parenting Practices, published in the Journal of Marriage and Family, found that children that attended out-of-home care received less discipline and less support from their mothers. These results are not surprising, considering the amount of time worked by parents. Because so much time is spent working, it is likely that more discipline must be left to children's caregivers and less to the parents. Moderator, if the children are cared for by several people, both out-of-home care providers and parents, they are likely to receive varying amounts of discipline in this situation, which will lead to confusion and ultimately behavioral problems. Neuroscience has in recent years settled without doubt the critical importance of the earliest years for the development of the senses and motor skills and the capacities for emotional control. Although emotional patterns can be gained or changed later in life, there is never again the plasticity that exists in the first 3 years of life. The increased number of women in the workplace is negatively affecting children. As we approach the end of this journey, the proposition will present a study by Susan M. Bianchi, a professor of sociology at the University of California at Los Angeles. This study was undertaken as part of research into time allocation given to work, family, and leisure. The study found that 74% of employed mothers with a full-time employed spouse say they have too little time for themselves. 73% say they have too little time with their spouse, and 44% say they have too little time with their youngest child. What is the effect of mothers spending less time with their children? A multi-method longitudinal study began in 1997 in the UK and involved several universities and the disciplines of sociology, history, education, and health, entitled Effective Provision of Preschool Education. One of the most interesting findings was that the parents' involvement in the child's education was a significant factor. The influence of the home learning environment is stronger than social class. Key indicators in assessing parental impact were the frequency of library visits, the child's painting and drawing at home, whether the child played with numbers, letters, and or the parents teaching the children letters or numbers, and the use of songs and nursery rhymes with the child. Where will the mother get the time to do these activities if she's at work? Moderator, I have taken you on a journey through the data, and the conclusions are clear. Discipline, negatively affected. School performance, negatively affected. Behavior, negatively affected. Emotional control, negatively negatively affected. My colleague and I stand resolute in our support of the move. The increased number of women in the workplace has negatively impacted our children. I thank you.